Final Fantasy X is a turn-based RPG what was originally designed on the PS2, what was my first Final Fantasy game that I ever played back in the day. It's one of them games where the Final Fantasy fans are torn. Others will say that it's a brilliant Final Fantasy game and others will say it's not. The game has a brilliant and in-depth and unusual storyline, so how can I do this without spoiling it for the players that haven't played it yet? You start off as a famous professional blitzball player called Tidus, whose father disappeared 10 years ago when your city's Anakin gets attacked by sin, and then you're transported to an unknown land called Spira, where everything is new and odd in the world that you don't understand. So as Tidus is learning about this world, so are you, and in that aspect it does a good job of introducing you to the game, and also helping the summoner on their pilgrimage to stop sin. And the way how the story ends up is brilliant, and it can make you tear up a tiny bit. The HD version is locked at 30 frames and I had no problem with the remastered version. They seem to took a bit of time to improve some of the textures in the game. The controls and the game mechanics might take a bit of while for some players to get used to, but there is a long tutorial what's split up so you're not getting overwhelmed with it too fast, apart from the leveling up system tutorial. What might bore some of you to sleep, that's how long it is, and this is me skipping over most of it. I don't want to think about how long it would have taken me to try and read all of this, especially being dyslexic. In short, it's a grid-based system. The game has a save point system where it restores your health and MP, and it does have a good autosave system in place as well, just to have you covered. There are many inventive different type of enemies what I was impressed with, and it made me wonder how long did it take for the artist to work on these. And the game does have very inventive bosses what just don't disappoint. The AI can act predictable a lot of the times. You can start to get in a rhythm of what they're gonna do before they do it in this turn-based system. And it's useful to change characters at any time in a match to find different strategies of certain enemies when there is an elemental one, or just switch when you're running low on health. And after some time you unlock armor and weapon customization what's average. You can't really go free range with it and do what the fuck you like. It's more of the long lines of you can put new defences in the armour, or elemental damage for your weapon, or +5 damage for example, and you can make powerful equipment what can overkill certain enemies. To unlock a new Aeon, usually there's a cloister of trials and these puzzles are boring. They're simple but annoying. It's more of a filler than anything, and you have to go through this near enough on every temple you visit to unlock these new Aeons what Yuna summons. They have good little cutscenes to them, but they can be a bit annoying if you summon often, where these clips keep playing and you can't skip them. When you're using an Aeon in battle, they have their standard attacks and their limit breaks. Once when you use one of their limit breaks, there's a cool little cutscene what plays out. And also you can teach them new abilities later on, and there are some parts where you have to grind defeating enemies because of a boss battle what's coming up. And later on it becomes more of an open world where you get this ship to fly around all of Spira finding hidden stuff like Aeons and revisiting old places. There is a sort of collectible in this, translating the Albed language with these texts what you find around Spira. The graphics are a bit above average for the time when this game came out on the PS2, and they use like this CG background effect in certain sections of the maps, with the player to pull off some tricks what brings it up well above good graphics for its time. I didn't know how they pulled this off. Some of it's just breathtaking, and a couple of times I had to stop and admire the view. The CG cutscenes are beautifully done and got my attention right away of how good they can be. It was like watching a good CG movie. Heck, it beats most CG movies of today's standards. There's quite a few characters to get through here. There's Tidus, who seems to have a bit too much of daddy issues, and it keeps hitting you over the head throughout the game, and it does eventually explain why, but in all, Tidus isn't a character what I'm going to remember. Then we get to Auron, who seems to be very secretive about his past, the most interesting character in the game, or maybe it's because of his shades. And then there's Riku, who's an Albed, who seems to be unsure of herself most of the time. Then we get to Komari. I've really got nothing here. He doesn't really speak much, otherwise he's a strong silent type if that's your thing. Then we get to Yuna, who's a summoner, never complains and just wants to do everything right for the fuckers of Spira. Then we get to Lulu, who's a goth emo. Well, she's got a belt fetish. Then we finally get down to the last party member, who's Walker, who's captain of the blitzball team and still uninteresting like all the others. And of course there's a villain of the game, Seymour, what gets more screen time than Sin himself. The voice acting is bad, sometimes it's laughable that it's that bad, and it comes off as awkward at times, but when the CGI cutscenes are on, it's alright. It makes a weird combination. The lip syncs can be off as well, to the point that they don't even move their mouths. The soundtrack is amazing, to the point that after when this is done, I'm going to buy the soundtrack to this game. For how long the game is, I clocked on around about 40 hours, but I can see it done in a lot less. So in the end, I'm going to give Final Fantasy X an 8 out of 10, and I'll definitely recommend it. Is the game perfect? Fuck no. It has problems, but it makes up for that in other parts of the game. So have you played it? What would you give this game? Leave it in the comments below. Until next game, I'm fucking off.